Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central. It's a brand new week and we're very excited to have you join us. This is Breakfast Central. We bring you in-depth analysis of all the biggest stories making the rounds in the country and we dissect them for you. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We're ready to kick off a brand new week with our usual lineup. I am Benga Borowa.
And I'm Joe Hansen. It's Monday. It's been a very terrific weekend. Started off from Thursday all the way to Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, we also had a lot of issues back and forth, especially with the current state of insecurity in the land. But we can say that, have we made great strides? Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
It's a conversation
but it's not where we want to, because the president released a statement yesterday on his X account.
Absolutely.
Talking about the good news of the 53, I believe, that were kidnapped in Kwara State. They have been, they have been, I don't even, I'm looking for the right word to use.
50, yeah, they said they escaped.
They recovered.
Then they recovered some. They rescued. There was some. So don't worry, we'll go into that story. But then again, let's just welcome our viewers. It's a conversation we're going to go into today. So we're saying good morning and thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, you can drop a comment or two on our social media platforms. We're streaming live on YouTube, so feel free to drop one or two comments here and there, and let's get this conversation on the road. Olive Emodi will be joining us. She didn't have a situation this morning. Flat tire, but unfortunately she couldn't make it, but she will be joining us pretty soon in the course of the conversation and the program. Well, where do we start from? Let's start off from one of our flagship programs that's here on News Central. It's got to do with Politics HQ, and I bet you know that program, 8 p.m. Monday through to Friday. And Dakbo Adeboye does a great job there, speaking with some of the very interesting personalities and guests. But this time, he decided to leave the studio and decided to take it outside of the studio to speak with someone very important regarding the insecurity and the state of insecurity within the Southwest, and not forgetting to not too far off from what people are talking about, which is when will the spate of insecurity stop? But let's look at this. Nigeria's faced a terrifying week, by the way, of insecurity between November 16 and 21. We can tell you that 7 major attacks has happened between that timeline, 16 to 21. Seven major attacks. Brigadier General Uba and 3 soldiers were killed in Borno, remember? 64 civilians abducted in Zamfara, 25 students and their principal kidnapped in Kebbi, 52 students taken in Niger, and 38 worshippers abducted in Kwara. Well, on Politics HQ News Central TV, Gani Adams warned that bandits have now infiltrated the Southwest. Now, the Kebbi governor questioned why troops left the school just 30 minutes before the attack, while Minister of Defense Bello Matawalle faced public criticism. President Tinubu announced that the 38 CAC church members have been released, brief in relief, though questions remain about how it was achieved. Benga, did they pay for ransom? Was it a non-kinetic approach like we usually hear?
Yeah. And it's very important that we get answers, because if they pay for it, they're only fueling the cycle and the industry of kidnapping. But I hope that's not the situation. But we're happy that they've reunited their family, and we hope that things get better. But on the story of the former OPC leader and the Aare or Kakanfo of Yoruba land, Mr. Gani Adams. Let's take a listen to excerpts of that interview with Dakbo Adeboye.
Tuesday. And what is the reason behind that press conference? We got an information on a very serious authority that we have been highly infiltrated in the Southwest.
There is already an infiltration.
Infiltration.
By who?
By these terrorists in most of the communities in Yoruba land. You know, Kogi and Kwara, just like a buffer zones to Southwest. And what they are doing in Kogi and Kwara is just a test of ground to start the major attacks in the southwest. The information in our disposal is that they want to attack Oyo, Ekiti, Ondo, and Lagos State.
Interesting revelation there. And he says the north central states of Kogi and Kwara are like a buffer zone, and the information that is getting through his intelligence network is that they plan to attack Oyo and Ekiti states. But I mean, you take this sort of news with mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Knowing the information or having the intelligence is one hand. It means you can act on it and prevent these attacks from happening.
True.
And then the second part is, will they do something exactly?
Yeah.
Will something be done about it? And I hope he has channeled this information to the appropriate authorities so they can nip this in the bud. But as of last night, Mr. President met with the IG and some service chiefs, and according to his handlers, they say he's having sleepless nights and is on top of the situation to make sure every single square inch of the territory called the Federal Republic of Nigeria is secured. But we can only, support them in any way we can to put an end to this. It's been an absolutely terrible week, to say the least. Yeah.
Benga, just that maybe as we progress on the show, it is very important that we highlight the southwest zone, especially looking at the map of Nigeria, which we're going to look at in the course of this conversation and see how deep the penetrations concerning the insecurity can get. I mean, I was just analyzing this, looking at my phone as well, and like I said, hopefully as we progress on the show, we're going to have this on the screen for the benefit of every single person who's watching. If you take a look at Kebbi is not too far off. It's just at the top. At the northern parts towards the southwest, if you look at it at the top. And then if you come down, you also have Niger State, not too far off as well. But the thing is, as you continue to come down, you have Kwara. And then Kwara, you have Oyo, okay? And Oyo, not far off, you also have Oshun, you have Ekiti. And then you come down, you have Lagos State. So what we just watched in that exclusive interview. By the way, you can watch that exclusive interview on YouTube, stream it with Takwa Adeboye, and you find out some of the very important statements that were made by Mr. Gani Adams there. And one of the things he said they are buffer zones. I would say that the security operatives shouldn't take it with kids' glove when such statements are being made.
And the use of buffer zones means that you can carry out things there, but they are human beings, they're Nigerian citizens there. So the fact that they can attack Kwara, Kogi State, shouldn't be comfortable with anyone in Lagos or in the southwest. And also, we failed to look at the bigger picture. FCT, the seat of power. We oftentimes feel that that's a seat of power. Is highly secure. They're insulated from all the troubles in Nigeria. But we really need to put up that map of Nigeria.
We're going to do that.
Because if you put up the map of Nigeria,
analysis on that
you
today.
see that Nasarawa, Kogi, Benue, hotspots are in close proximity to the FCT. So it's very important.
That's what we're going to
step up.
Yes. So in the course of the show, do want to stay with us. We'll take time to look at this, analyze this. Of course, we'll have some very seasoned guests who will be joining us. But he's not the only one who's talking. Over the weekend, a lot, like we said, had happened, so much. Now, Governor of Borno State also came out to speak concerning the rising spate of insecurity, not just in Kebbi, but also starting to trickle back into Borno State. Now, guess what he said? The governor went on to put out a statement and a video where he said that prayers should be up. They're going to start
praying and fasting.
Praying and fasting, especially for the insecurity in the land. And then again, it makes
a different
one
approach.
Wonder if that is a non-kinetic approach.
Yeah, it's non-kinetic. You just need faith.
The issues.
You need faith, and prayers never hurt anyone. But it depends on your disposition as a person and what you think of the efficacy of the prayers. Will it work? Will it force the bandits to drop their weapons? And some might say that, prayers, the Lord does work in mysterious ways. Because if you do recall, just a few weeks ago, ISWAP and Boko Haram were engaged in a shootout. I think it was around the Lake Chad area. And there was a lot of bloodletting was done. So if you're prayerful and you're one of the security operatives, you'll be wondering that, wow, this is a miracle from heaven for God to pit two enemies of the Nigerian state against each other, Boko Haram on one side and ISWAP. So maybe it was as a result of prayers, who knows? But beyond prayers, we really need to do the needful. I think God has given us the capacity and the intelligence and the resources to deal with the problems that we encounter as human beings, and we just need to be serious and tackle it head on.
Anyway,
well,
talking about
I mean, prayers don't hurt anyone. If you want to pray and fast,
but remember that during the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the former president, prayers was used as a means of fighting the insecurity.
Prayers and guns.
After that,
alongside,
I don't know about
kinetic means.
Kinetic, non-kinetic, and kinetic, but non-kinetic in relation to faith. Aside that, during the time of the late President Muhammadu Buhari, prayers were being used as a means to ensure that they chase this. I don't know if this would actually work. I'm not here to tell if it's going to actually end the crisis, but
even America does use prayers. They say, God bless America, one nation under God, and things like that. So faith plays an important role in human beings. If it works or not, that's a different issue.
Okay, let's get to see some of the messages that were dropped as well. We do have a video we'll also like to show to you concerning the Borno State Governor while he made that statement. But let's take a look at it.
People state, we believe our security strategies must be underpinned by prayers. I hereby declare Monday, 24th November 2025 as a statewide day of fasting and prayer for the restoration of peace in Borno State and the country in general. On this day, I call upon every resident of Borno State, regardless of faith, to join in prayer for the lasting peace and prosperity of our beloved state and Nigeria. Consequently, let us therefore devote ourselves to constant prayers, seeking Almighty God's mercy. I also urge the people to use this period to pray for divine protection against evildoers, saboteurs, and all enemies of peace. Finally, let me assure you that we will continue to invest in the welfare of our security forces, support community-based vigilance, and pursue dialogue where possible without compromising the state's integrity or the safety of our people. Thank you.
All right, there you have the president of Borno State there, His Excellency, calling for prayers from every single person, every single indigenous of this state, the governor of Borno State, I beg your pardon. But the governor also, while speaking, remember that a few months ago he had decided to lace up his boots and join the soldiers on the front line to follow through and find out what's really causing the insecurity in Borno State. It seems like that exercise did not really yield 100% fruit, but rather it was able to yield at least some form of perception, understanding, target, goals, you name it, whatever it is.
I think it does a lot for the morale of the troops. To assess, to have a first-hand assessment of situation on the front line. So if he's making requests to the federal government in Abuja, he can make a case of being the chief security officer of the state. Babagana Zulum, professor, is a very hands-on governor. He's very passionate about his people. His background is in the academic. So for him to, to say, look, it's time for prayers, it also reveals deeper worrying trends that, look, this might be beyond us as human beings. Or, I mean, this is just my interpretation. We need to call God to intercede on our behalf and, give us the guide and, just divine intervention at this point from what he has said. But we cannot afford, I mean, the Nigerian state is bigger. We have the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, Intelligence Services, the NSCDC. We have different paramilitary organizations to allow our country to allow terrorists to dictate the narrative for us. And Nigeria has become quite worrying. There's a Bosnian saying that may your house not be shown on CNN. I mean, it's shows ominous signs that dark clouds are hanging. But I do believe that Nigeria will prevail, and light will prevail over darkness, and we'll overcome this. If you look at the history of nations, they've gone through one sort of turmoil or the other. So we need to give the government the necessary support, and the government also needs to show capacity and honesty in dealing with this.
Talking of showing capacity, well, it seems like maybe the prayers are starting to work already, because the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, announced the release of victims in a tweet that he put out yesterday on X, formerly known as Twitter. He went on to put out this statement and said, "My fellow Nigerians, you will recall that I cancelled my trip to the G20 summit in South Africa, which ended this weekend, by the way, to enable me coordinate the security efforts at home. Thanks to the efforts of our security forces over the last few days, all the 38 worshippers abducted in Eruku, Kwara State, have been rescued. I'm equally happy that 51 out of the missing students of the Catholic school in Niger State have been recovered. I am closely monitoring the security situation nationwide and receiving continuous updates from the front line. Let me be clear." I think that's the President's best statement. I always see, he always uses that. Let me be clear. Now, let me be clear. I will not relent. Every Nigerian in every state has a right to safety, and under my watch, we will secure this nation and protect our people. Of course, he goes on to sign that statement there. So, apart from saying that maybe the prayers are working, or maybe it seems like the battle line has been drawn between Nigeria's security operatives and forces against the angry and inhuman, you could say, assailants, or you better still just call them what they are, terrorists, it's starting to yield fruit. So, but there's one big question everyone is asking. You did have 38 congregants who were released, as it were, from the
rescued, according to the President's
recovered
statement.
And words like
the recovered was for the 51. Rescued was for
So I'm
Kwara.
tying all of them together. How were they rescued?
Okay.
How were they recovered? Now, Bing, I'm coming.
Yes.
I just want to highlight one thing. If you go to the United States, okay, usually the United States will boast of its strength.
Yeah,
and
SEAL
power.
Team 6 was sent to Abbottabad to
There you
kill
go.
Osama bin
There you
Laden.
go.
His body was buried
There
in the
you go.
sea.
And they highlight
You know,
all
they
of
give you
that.
details.
They give you details.
Timelines.
So we as journalists, when we put these things down, when we read the information online, we're more peculiar with, okay, how was it done? And the United States is even more, I would say, emboldened to put this into a movie, produce it into a documentary, and let you know that, listen, this is what we are. It shows strength, it shows
Exactly,
power.
it's a projection
And it
of strength and
pushes
power.
a message out to
But
whoever it is.
just the mere questioning, how did this happen? There's pushback. Journalists are doing their jobs. Our job is how did they will tell you that, are you not happy that they've been rescued? What kind of question are you
is that?
asking? That you should be celebrating the fact that they've been rescued. How they got out, it shouldn't be of your business. And it's wrong. We need to really change that. Thanks for highlighting.
Yeah, I mean, but
that
let's see
message.
one of the victims that were kidnapped, was kidnapped. Let's see what they have to say, and possibly let's also get to hear from them as well from the videos.
Governor of Kwara State, thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his hands on my coach to get them back on the community for the not to do first of the attention to this. I can't say what it is. Yes. After like 30 minutes of the program, we start the program by 15 minutes of the program. After all the things, just left gunshot. Even to my own perspective, I didn't know it was gunshot. I think it was just sparkling of some wire. But by the time we get, they surrounded the whole church. Even some people, they begin to narrate that they are seeing drop of blood everywhere.
Now, from that Tuesday to today when you are released, what is the situation right there inside the bush?
was unimaginable because when we got there, we really know that it was a dominated area by these people bandits. Even they have the courage to tell themselves that we are bandits, and they make us know that there's no one that can just sleep away without being caught. And with what we see, nobody can escape. From that, they have dominated. They knew all the routes surrounding all those bushes in Kwara and other states.
David, you are from Nigeria, of God of the disease.
With the release of the captives, how do you feel today, sir?
On behalf of the CSC President, the General Evangelist of Christ Apostolic Church, and the authority of the church, even the regional superintendents, we are so glad to see our people back live. And we appreciate the governor of the state. We appreciate everybody for this great job. One of the authorities of the welcoming. We thank God of Christ Apostolic Church.
Must first of all apologize for the poor audio quality in some of that footage that you just watched, but there you have it, the governor of the state and some of the victims who have regained freedom speaking about what they saw. It's quite a situation nobody would want to be in because the trauma. I saw a video this yesterday/this morning of a victim who sadly had mentioned that while she was kidnapped, she was raped multiple times by some of these bandits, and it brought chills. I can still feel goosebumps in my body, you know. It brought chills down my spine.
You'll never wish that on your
and she was crying.
enemy.
She said she had to leave the country completely to see if she could start a new life. But even at that, she struggles with nightmares and everything. Nobody should go through that.
Absolutely, nobody should go through that. And I'm hoping that now that these victims have been recovered and they've regained their freedom, the police authorities would and the intelligence services would do a proper debrief so they can, you know, pinpoint intelligence, location, and find out more information that will help them deal decisively. Because it's one thing to commit a crime. They're not just going to say because the victims have been rescued that the perpetrators of this act should be allowed to go scot-free. No, justice has to be served, and they need to go into those those that the hinterland and destroy their camps and get them arrested if possible, and deal decisively with this. But that's not all. Nigeria is still in the spotlight internationally. You do recall that last week the United States Senate did have a briefing on the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and it's still enjoying wall-to-wall coverage, albeit negative coverage. This is not the type of attention Nigeria needs in this time of our nationhood. President Trump, while speaking, did release a statement. I think it was in a radio interview.
Yeah.
And he says,
the BBC or something.
yes, and that's the statement there. It says, I think Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by thousands. It's a genocide, and I'm really angry about it. And we pray, we give another subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They are very ineffective. They are killing Christians at will, and until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it. Just President Trump. So, I mean, it's just, and let's also mention that there are back channel negotiations that are happening. There's been talks between the United States government and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Just last week, the National Security Advisor of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, did meet with the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, at the Department of War. I'm sure so much progress would have happened. I did see the tweet that the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, put out on talks with the Nigerian security, Nigerian NSA, with the National Security Advisors. So hopefully we'll make some progress from there.
Well, the conversation continues, and you can still be part of it. That's what we're saying. So feel free to join us, drop a comment or two on all socials. We're streaming live, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the likes, and let us know what your thoughts are. By the way, you did also, let's also highlight very quickly to you that the conversation about Nigeria's insecurity is a continuous one. And here on News Central's Breakfast Central, recall that some schools have been shot in different parts, especially in the northern region, and not forgetting to in areas that have been highly affected by the recent insecurity crisis. News Central will have our men on ground with their boots laced up, going from door to door, and also finding out what neighbors are actually saying, plus what the students equally will be saying. There you have it, the Federal Ministry of Education, closure of 47 schools at federal unity colleges. This statement did come over the weekend as well, not quite long. On the 21st of December 2025, this dated is another question that people had asked. But then again, it went on to talk about the closure of schools, and many also had pointed to the date and said, we don't understand what's going on. We're in November. Why do you have December up there? And this brought a lot of questions. But then again, there was a back and forth as well, where they had said they'd never said they were going to shut down schools. But then again, the governors of the state came out to say, we are the governors. We say the schools should be shut down. Then you had parents rushing to go grab their children from school. I mean, from boarding school, see children carrying their boxes on their head. Everybody's running away. If I were a parent, what would I do?
Of course, it's the life first. Educate, they can always get other schools.
Come on.
Because, I mean, the government has shown that they don't have the capacity to secure all schools. And I believe this was the right move. But then again, it talks about our ability to, just adapt to a situation. I've started seeing adverts of buses, bulletproof buses, to transport people during the Yuletide season. And it's terrible. Instead of facing a problem head on, we'd rather make excuses or adjust our life while the problem thrives.
One state that has also led the call for the closure of schools is Niger State. Well, let's take a look at this video and see what the governor said as we look forward to wrap up Wake Up Conversation this morning.
Nigeria is the only country we have, and Niger State is our state. As such, we must continue as government to protect the lives and properties of our citizens. In this decision, stakeholders today have decided to close all schools in Niger State. Private, primary and secondary schools, missionary schools, Islamic schools, federal government college now. All federal government colleges are already regulated by federal government.
Well,
and this will be, it'll be disruptive to the learning process of the children, the academic calendar, because I believe they should be closing for the end of the year holidays in about 3 weeks, and I wonder how they will adjust. But look, all that, the human life is
more important than all of that when it comes to that, because if there's no life or there are no lives, who would attend the schools? And there you have the parents going there to pick their children, no time, Binga. And that's exactly what should be noted. But then again,
and it will put their mind at ease that, getting reports every other day that there's this kidnapping here and there. So it would bring some relief to some of the parents. I'm sure some of them have actually might have been planning to take their kids out of the schools before the announcement was made.
That's right. Well, one man has been talking, and he's been talking tough. He happens to be not just on social media. Many have tagged him a critique of the federal government, but he says he's just one who wants a better future for Nigeria. He joins us here at 7:30, just around, it's about to start now, so make sure you stick around because that's where we're going to next. In the meantime, who told the military to leave the position or leave their spaces or their places right before the attack happened in Kebbi? The Kebbi State Governor is also asking. We'll take a look at the map of Nigeria and look at the significance of why insecurity should be dealt a major blow. Stay with us here on Breakfast Central, but let's bring to you the top stories for today on a Monday morning. Monday morning on Breakfast Central, we'll be analyzing National Assembly's role in combating insecurity, a big conversation that must be had. Concerns mount over school children's safety in northern Nigeria.
And also antimicrobial resistance. Experts warn of rising deaths in Nigeria We'll also bring you Which Way Nigeria, and we will be analysing the front pages of the newspaper, where you can call in and share your thoughts with us on the biggest stories. Do stay with us. Breakfast Central continues shortly.